On that note, it's time for What Do You Say, J and K. Let's rock with it. What we got, my brother?
All right.
Okay.
Let's see what this one says. So this message came to us from Facebook. It says, for the past few years, my wife and family have been pushing me to seek therapy. I think I know the importance of good mental health, but I can't help but feel like therapy, for me, is for the weak. And I can deal with my own problems better than someone that I don't know can. My wife says there's no longer a stigma associated with it, and I need to get out of my head. J and K, have you ever had therapy? If so, does it help? And how did you deal with the angst of going?
Well, this is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Just straight out of the Stephen Twitch Boss segment that we just spoke about. He dealt with mental health issues, and a lot of Americans deal with mental health issues, right? And it's a great question. I'm glad that she asked this question. It's very important, so I'm glad to touch upon it. I just think like back in the days, it was frowned upon, right? Like mental health wasn't like the thing that it is today. So I am so very happy that now more people are actually paying attention to it, right? Like I suffer from anxiety, stress disorder. I have depression. I have all of that, right? And I see a therapist. And it's funny because I spoke about this before. Like even my own family, sometimes they felt like it wasn't a real thing, right? Like it wasn't really like serious, right? Like my own father dealt with depression, right? And he didn't want to admit it because he was a proud old school Jamaican man, and he didn't want to get help because he felt like, you know, he can handle it on his own, just like we were saying. Like some people feel like they can handle it on their own. And listen, at the end of the day, do we all suffer from anxiety and stress? You know, and do we all have days when we feel a little depressed? Sure, we all do, right? But when you suffer from depression, it's kind of a thing that's ongoing, right? And you can try to deal with it yourself, but I will tell you from self-experience, it's not going to help. You have to seek a professional, right? But I don't want people to think that it's like kind of like you go to the dentist and you get your cavity filled, or you go and you do a colonoscopy and you're in and you're out and that's it. No. Therapy is something that you go to and you do it, you know, on a continued basis. You may do it for a few months, you may do it for a year, you may do it for a few years, you may do it for life, right? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You're going to have your up days, you're going to have your down days, you know, but it's something that you have to work on. And what people don't understand is that, you know, mental health, when you're mentally sick, that affects your physical, right? You know, there are so many issues just physically that it's compounded, it's made worse when you're stressed, right? You know, so there are so many things. So mental health is so important for us all, and it's something that we should all take very serious. You should go to therapy. You got to speak to someone. You know, it's great to have your friends, right? You can speak to your friends as well, too. You have your pastors, your friends. You know, you and I speak a lot. You've helped me out a lot of times. We help each other out, and it's fine. Go to your friends and things like that. But you should also, you know, seek a specialist, like someone who's a therapist, who's trained in it, who knows how to do certain things. And I can't think of anything that's more important than your mental health, right? Some people, I used to think back in the days that my physical health was more important than my mental health, right? I was like, well, you know, because I felt like, oh, I can deal with it myself, right? I could do it up to a certain point. But now, okay, it's like, it's right there. Neck and neck. It's physical health, mental health. Some people think that mental health is more important, but it's right there. They're cohesive. They go hand in hand, and it's very important. And I mean, it's very important, and I think that we all should do it. So I would tell the caller, just listen. Don't deal with it yourself. You know, seek out a therapist There's different platforms like headway.com where you can go on and you can seek out different therapists. So many different places that can help you. I will say the most important thing, because I've been to a few therapists, right? Some of them just don't work, right? They don't mesh with you.
Right.
It's not the best fit. But you just have to seek out the person that meshes well with you. One of the brothers that I'm seeing right now, a black man, he deals with a lot of people in this field, our field right now, in the arts field, in the communications, creative field. And he helps me tremendously, right? Gives me lots of advice. And but mostly it's just an ear, right? They listen to you. And they can really help you out. So I think it's one of the most important things that we all should do. And you can kind of see in today's day and age right now, it's a thing, right? I was like, oh, my therapist. It's kind of like a fad. Like a lot of people have therapists, but it's good to see that now, because at least that people are having help. Whereas back in the days, like in my father's generation, it was like a no thing. People didn't want to be, because what do you think, I'm crazy? No. So now people are more accepting of it right now. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm very happy to see. So everyone should do that. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll start with the first question that he asked, which is, have I been? No, I have not been to therapy. So I'm going to qualify that by saying there was a time that I went back counting that. I got when I was I was in high school. I'll explain. When I was in high school, I got suspended for fighting. One of the few times that I actually got suspended. And a condition of my suspension, in order to come back to school, was I had to sit with the therapist. Right. Yeah. But I was sitting there, didn't really do anything. From this time to this time. And I had to do that for a couple of weeks or so on to get clearance. And then we had a couple of conversations, but it wasn't really anything.
You go through the motions.
Right. So I don't want to, so I guess technically I've been there, but not really. A lot of folks around me either have or do. You know, you and I talked about that. So I will answer this from a standpoint of what I've seen or what I've heard. And so one of the things, if I go back to the letter, was I would say, and maybe you can confirm this, Jay, that the therapist, it's my understanding, helps the patient arrive to the answer, right? So I think we sometimes, the lay person, thinks we go there and this is the wise person that's going to give you the answers to things. But when I would ask questions about the experience to those who attended, they talk more about, like you said, they listen, right? And then they kind of open a door for you to walk through and then see what's in there. And then you stay in there or walk out, close it. No, it's not that one. And just kind of help you to navigate through that, right? That sound about what the experience? Okay.
Yes.
So I think I would say, I feel like more of that needs to be shared, because those of us that don't know, that haven't gone through it, I think we believe that there's someone that's going to provide these answers and
tell you what to do.
Right. And that's why you get that response that this person, how am I going to go to someone that doesn't even know me and tell me about me and give me the answers and they don't even know? Well, it's not them telling you. It's them helping you for you to find the answer. Right. You have the answer, you have the challenge, and you have the answer, and they're just going to help you navigate through what's in your head so you can arrive there. That's it. Again, sounds about correct?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I love the fact that you have the support, the writer has the support of family, says that his wife and his family are suggesting that he goes. But that also tells me that they're seeing something, that there's something in your behavior, there's something that's going on. And those that love you are saying, hey, you need to talk to someone, right? On a level that we can't provide. You need to talk with a professional. So I would say, get out of your own head, like your wife said, and really kind of listen to what's not being said, which is, you need some help, you need some support, right? And just kind of listen to that, go through the motions. I would say at minimum, just be open to the idea of at least trying it. Not just one time, because as Jay mentioned, I think that connection with folks, Those matter. So it may take you a couple of times, but
Right.
but I too. And it's interesting that although I don't and I haven't, I do have an appreciation for it, right? Because I've seen it change people,
Good.
right?
Good.
I absolutely seen people attribute their change to their therapy. So
Right.
yeah, man. And as far as that stigma, I don't think it's totally gone, but I'd say it's definitely changed from how it used to be years ago.
It has. And I think one of the most important things is, you can have someone saying that, like the writer was saying, his family saying you should go, and it's great when your family, your friends can see that,
Right.
and give their advice to go, which is great because they're doing what any friends and family should do.
Right.
But the most important factor is that you, like the person themselves, they have to want to go, right? They can't be like in your situation when you were saying when you were younger and you were more like you were forced to go.
Absolutely.
You were just going through the motions.
Right.
You was like da 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 whatever and stuff like that. That was a different situation. But when you're really severely depressed and whatever, like, and it goes with anything in life, like people can't want things for you. You have to want to do things yourself. Like, you have to, go and find your therapist. You have to want to seek help. If someone is forcing you, your friends or family are forcing you on therapy, and you're just going there, and you're just sitting there and just going da 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 da, and not really listening to the therapist, it's not going to work.
Right.
Right. Just because you may be physically going there, and you're just sitting there, if you don't want to be there, it's not. You're not going to be, being able to be helped. I think the first part of getting help is just admitting you have a problem to yourself. And once you admit that, yeah, I do have a problem, I'm very self-aware of issues that I go through. And there are other people that are like that too, and that's good. Those kind of people, they'll heal a lot better,
Right.
and they'll get better because they're willing. They know they have a problem, right? So they're going to get help. They're not going there because their family member said, well, you should go and get therapy. They're going there, no, because I actually need help. I actually made the call. I actually reached out to people.
Nice.
I found my therapist. I did the research. I did everything I needed to do, and I am now going. Those people, I see a great prognosis in them healing themselves and getting better because they wanted it for themselves.
Right.
And that goes with anything in life, anything that you want to achieve. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I think the stigma is a lot better. Yeah, hopefully it will get even better. But, yeah, we've come a long way from where we used to come before.
Yeah.
So, kudos to our writer, and I hope, they definitely get better. And, just got to keep it going. It's like I said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And listen, we all going through a lot of ish these days, right? So we just have to handle it and take care of our mental health. And I think we'll definitely all be better.
Like, why wouldn't you want to feel better, right? Like if you feel if there's something there that's going to help you feel a little bit better, like relieve some of that stress, why wouldn't you try it? Right?
Because a lot of people, I think, believe that they can actually get through it themselves.
I wouldn't doubt that. I don't disagree with that.
And a lot of people don't like speaking to strangers about their problems.
Right.
Which, it's funny for me. I rather speak to a stranger than, and you're my brother. Not even that I'd rather speak to a stranger versus you, but I feel like when people speak to, they're going to hold back with their friends and their family because I can see where they might feel a little uncomfortable sharing their deepest feelings with their family, with their friends. It's much, but I've heard the opposite too. But I don't really understand that. Well, it's way easier for me to share it with a stranger because there's no.
Well, to the stranger non-stranger thing, as someone said to me, is don't talk about whatever that topic is until you're ready to talk about it, right? So in those earliest sessions, get to know them, develop the relationship, right? You said it's a marathon, not a sprint. So maybe X amount of sessions before that is just having top surface level conversations, breaking down walls, just getting a feel for someone, and eventually get to the point where you can then share some things. Or maybe you're like Jay, where it's like, no, I feel better. not knowing you and you not knowing me. Now I can get on full disclosure mode and just start telling you how great this guy, my co-host and good friend Kay, is. Right? You gotta put that out there. How we can't do anything without Doc and pushing levers and pulling buttons.
That
right?
is true.
You know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. That is true.
But I listen. I know it probably sounds corny to say, "Hey, it's very brave of you," and I thank you for doing that. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say it anyway. Jay, that's dope, man. That you talked about that.
Yeah.
You are always far more transparent than many folks online. Definitely more than me. I can't tell you. Sometimes I sit here in silence and go, "Oh shit, he said that." Right. So, but I applaud you for that, man, because to really come out there and share some of the things that you go through, and so someone's hearing this and is going to feel like, hey, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jay goes through that. Like a lot of folks listen to us. A lot of folks follow you. So it means something. So I doff my cap to you, friend, and I appreciate you doing that, man.
Well, you've always been a great friend for many, many years now. So I thank you for saying that. And it's really important. And listen, all my family and friends, I just want us all to be mentally healthy, physically healthy. And I just want all of you guys just seek help if you need it, right? And for me personally, it might be a little bit easier with the stranger, but if for others it's better to talk to a friend, listen, I don't care who you talk to, right? You can talk to your pastor, talk to your friend. Right? But definitely get it out. Don't keep it pent up in here, because when it's pent up and you're not sharing it with others, that's when it's a big problem.
Right.
And that's what, and don't ever be ashamed of anything, man. We all need help. We're all going through it. It's all good. We're going to be healthy.
Indeed.
All right. So listen, it's been fun, right? We had some really interesting topics, man, and some important ones. Important ones too. So listen, it's been fun. We got through a lot of stuff today, and we're going to be back next week with more hot topics, educational topics, and more debates, as we always do, man. All right. Of course, I'm your man, J. Rob. I got my brother, KO, right there. And we will be back next week with more hot topics on the J and K Show. Until then, be good, be healthy, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. Peace. We out. Thanks for watching the J and K Show.